See? Bill Krum. Bill Krum. Yes, hello, Professor Krum. I am having some trouble on this lab. I was wondering if you could offer me some assistance. I know we are supposed to turn a
This one
binary
asks
number
questions.
into a string
Questions are
and,
cheating.
back,
This one
back
must
to
be
a string
destroyed.
again. But what I was having problems with was with my series of conditional statements in C. I was having some trouble. U equals U plus dead.
Welcome to Purdue University, one of the top 10 universities in the United States. We may excel academically, but we do have a problem. That problem is thought theft, or plagiarism, and plagiarism at Purdue is becoming an obstacle to the students learning here. Academic dishonesty policies have become constricting to students and inefficient for the people who enforce them. The purpose of this documentary is to shed light on these inefficiencies. Plagiarism, an act or instance of using or closely imitating the language and thoughts of another author without authorization and the representation of that author's work as one's own as by not crediting the original author.
Hello, Grants class.
My name's Linda Haynes. I'm the Assistant Director of the Composition Program.
I'm a biologist.
Is plagiarism a problem at Purdue?
I think that it's definitely an issue. I know a lot of people who are like, hey, can I borrow your, or look at your code, and then they end up submitting the same code. And I mean, it's not always, the person who gives it to the friend doesn't always know that they're going to use it, but it can definitely be an issue.
I think it's an issue at every university because we're always using other people's work to influence what we do.
Yes, I think it's a problem at Purdue. I think that many different departments have a different definition of it, and because of that, it is a problem.
Part of the philosophy within our introductory composition program is one of trust. I personally, nor does our program, like to use things like turnitin.com or SafeAssign, things like that. Because we like to build an atmosphere of trust within our classes. We also like to create plagiarism-resistant assignments. No assignment is plagiarism-proof. We realize that, but we like to make it as difficult as possible for students to plagiarize. We realize that students often get overwhelmed and they try to cut corners. It happens. You get backed into a corner and you may do something that's not necessarily the best decision, the best choice that you could make. But when we focus on process, writing process, that makes assignments harder to plagiarize, and it also helps students keep on track and keep their time management skills in check.
Independent of any handout, posting, or discussion, it is the student's responsibility to determine what constitutes academic dishonesty in a particular course. If a question arises, the student must contact the appropriate person, example, the professor or course administrator, before proceeding.
Purdue prohibits dishonesty in connection with any university activity. Cheating, plagiarism, or knowingly furnishing false information to the university are examples of dishonesty. Furthermore, the University Senate has stipulated that the commitment of acts of cheating, lying, and deceit in any of their diverse forms is dishonest and must not be tolerated. Moreover, knowingly to aid and abet, directly or indirectly, other parties in committing dishonest acts is in itself dishonest. What is your definition of plagiarism?
Plagiarism is blatantly taking someone's work
and presenting it as they are.
Plagiarism?
I think plagiarism is when you're like blatantly stealing someone's work and you know it's not yours, but you submit it.
I think it's using something that's not yours and failing to cite it as someone else's.
And I think that there are two angles. One is the personal angle that each student needs to know. If you work together with somebody and you write down a consensus of 2 or 3 people, the only one who knows whether that has been your own original mental work is you. And so I think we just need to help our students become confident enough that they will keep working at something until they're able to produce their own original creative thinking about it.
Every time I teach a composition course, there's some collaboration. We do peer review, peer editing. In the class I'm teaching right now, we have writing groups in which students are assigned to a small group and they help each other out. And many times I can see the influences of each other's writing within one writing piece. And I enjoy that. It's a good, healthy thing, I think, to do, to write collaboratively and to help each other out like that. Now, that, for our department, is completely different from writing entirely for someone else or taking someone else's writing without properly citing it. Sometimes there are gray areas, and we realize that. But the way I set up the assignment, I expect students to work with each other and to produce something that's stronger with someone else rather than something that may be weaker if you write it on your own.
So creativity comes from borrowing ideas from others and modifying them for your own purposes. Like if I do any HTML coding or internet type of work, what I do is I go find someone else's work and I copy it all and I put it into my own purpose and modify it so it does what I want, you know.
I think collaboration is probably not the same thing. Coming together to create work is not the same thing as blatantly taking someone's work and presenting it at their own. So I think they're different terms.
Well, I think that knowledge is socially constructed. This is the way I think about it. There aren't like the knowledge is there and we're going to discover it and the way you understand it is going to be the same way I understand it. Each one of us has our own understanding, and to really solve a problem or be creative about a problem requires a variety of different perspectives. And so if you think about the workforce, in the workforce, there are jobs where people do things by themselves, but mostly we work on teams. And so what I like to do is give interesting problems that probably don't have one right answer, and then get people that have different perspectives together to talk about it and come to consensus on that.
Would collaboration help to prepare one for the workforce?
Yes, I would think so, because everything in the real world is just doing parts of code and putting it together for a big piece. So working together would definitely be a good thing.
I think that talking to your friends about the general idea of what to do for a given problem is good. I guess the only thing that I would say is bad is when you're actually like looking at their code and typing it like character for character, but if you're just kind of sitting down and talking about it, then it's good.
Yes, because I think that nowadays things are done a lot more in small teams, and so working collaboratively teaches you how to work with others.
We have teams of people who are working together in all laboratories, where different people are contributing different things.